It's time for your daily LSU baseball update with Musso at the box. Now, Matt Musso.
Off and running. Welcome in another edition of Musso at the box. Fired up to have everybody along for the ride. Please smash the like button. Get subscribed if you have not already on the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. Follow on social media if you're watching. The handle scroll below you. If you're listening, Twitter X at Musso Matthew. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook as well. We are brought to you by Gotlit Light Installers, and boy, do we have a ton to do on today's show. Want to dive into some LSU offensive numbers again as they come off the weekend from Tennessee. Is there more reason outside of just Sunday's game to believe that LSU is back? We also dive in to some numbers that that sent me down a rabbit hole off of a listener's question on one of the live streams. That's how LSU is done by starting pitching in the conference the last 3 weeks when the offense has, kind of been in its dip. What story does it tell? And again, is it the whole story? And then, of course, LSU has a pretty big one in the midweek on Tuesday night at the box against the Southeastern Lions. Southeastern comes in just outside the top 50 in the RPI, leading the Southland Conference and looking like they're on the fast track to an NCAA tournament bid. We will talk all about that game, what we want to see from LSU, and one storyline to really follow when the Tigers and Lions do battle on Tuesday night. So again, smash the like, get subscribed if you have not already. That is greatly, greatly appreciated. And please share. All right. Let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. And we'll start kind of by looking at the LSU offense. So on Saturday night, when we were doing our post-game immediate live reaction, a listener named Justin in our live chat asked what LSU's batting average is against starters the last 3 weeks, and said, look, off the top of my head, I don't know it. But that's a great question. I'm curious to see. I'll look into it and have it for you in the weekend recap. Obviously, I didn't have it in the weekend recap. It required a little bit more digging. So we'll do it here tonight or today. Excuse me. And in doing this, I found myself looking at it and going, okay, man, does that really tell the whole story, though? But for the sake of it, and bear with me on some of the numbers, I only did it in the SEC. I could have thrown in some of the midweeks, but it would have really skewed the numbers. Because you were awesome, obviously, against Louisiana Tech. Northwestern was what it was, but I kept it really to the SEC because, well, it's the SEC, and that's really what matters. So in the Auburn series, we know that was not good, y'all. Against starting pitching, so that was Sam Dutton, Cade Fisher, and Andreas Alvarez. LSU hit a .150 and scored one earned run in that series. And that's really where you looked at it and you went, ooh, hey, now, what's that looking like? In the Alabama series, you won 2 out of 3. LSU hit .326 off Bama starters and scored 4 earned runs. And this last week against Tennessee, LSU hit .137 and scored four earned runs. Now, they won 2 out of 3 in that series. Overall, the last 3 weeks in conference play, LSU has hit .202 and scored 11 earned runs off the starters. Yet, you've won 2 out of the 3 series. While attacking the starting pitcher is very important, and it is, especially with the way that LSU plays offense. Jay Johnson wants his team to have great success off the starter, specifically in terms of pitch count and getting that up and getting him out of the game early so you can get into the bullpen. And that's where we begin to look at this and say, okay, maybe it doesn't tell the whole story. There are certain games where you got flat out dominated. Sam Dutton dominated you. LSU went 3 for 21 against Sam Dutton and got shut out. Liam Doyle dominated you. Now, Liam Doyle is going to be a first-round draft pick. You went 1 for 21 and you didn't score any runs. Marcus Phillips was awesome. You got 3 hits off of him. Like, he was great. But also mixed in there is an outing against Riley Quick, who throws 100 and is a prospect against Alabama, and you hit 444 off of him. You have the 375 outing against the Tennessee starter on Sunday. So there are some good mixed in there, but what you're also seeing is a game like game number 1 against Alabama, where you only had 4 hits off the starter, yet he was out of the game. He didn't make it through 4 innings. He did not make it through 4 innings because you got the pitch count up. So success against a starting pitcher can look a little bit different. And those numbers, while they're not good, you've had good moments. You've faced prospects, had success against some, not a lot against others. But again, you've won 2 out of those 3 series. So how I'm going to define success against a starting pitcher is twofold. It's not just how much are you hitting them, how many runs you're getting off of them. It's how you're working them and what your at-bats look like. And mixed in there were still some really good moments in there. Like against Tyler Fay. You got him. He didn't make it through the 4 innings. You got him out. Ultimately, you end up scoring 11 runs in that game in a comeback fashion. And getting him out of the game was a huge part to that because you finally got into their bullpen. You know, against Cade Fisher, he went his longest outing, but the big hit lacked there. Now, against Alvarez, that's a guy who, again, didn't make 5 innings against you. You didn't score. You didn't hit much, but you got him out of the game. The bigger issue in that series, obviously, was LSU just couldn't hit the ball for anything. So I look at that stretch and I say, yeah, you didn't hit well, but you got some of the pitchers out, and then you actually did hit well against others. All in all, do the numbers look good? No. Do you want them to look better? Absolutely. But the question now is LSU's offense getting back to normal? Like, I don't even want to say turning a corner. I don't even want to say find it. Are they getting back to normal? Because we have seen this offense be incredibly good. So good that they were drawing apt and deserved comparisons to the 2023 team. Like, those comps were not plucked out of thin air. There was number and data to back it up. Are they getting back in that direction? And there are, even in a weekend against Tennessee where you hit 137 against the starting pitching, there are signs across those 3 games that say, yeah, LSU's breaking out of it. Not just Sunday, over the course of the 3-game weekend. So, what are some of those? Well, we talked a little bit about this in the weekend recap, but I went back and did it for the whole weekend now, instead of just that Sunday game, when we were talking about the offense starting to turn a corner. Or again, I didn't want to say turn a corner. Get back to normal. LSU has been dynamite all season up until this little mini stretch here with runners in scoring position. What if I told you, 30 for 30, what if I told you that over the course of 3 games, LSU against Tennessee hit 375 with runners in scoring position? Because they did. And I bet you're thinking, oh, well, they must have just hit the cover off the ball. It was all that game on Sunday. No, it wasn't. LSU, through all the struggles they had, hitting Liam Doyle, hitting that bullpen, really being held down offensively throughout the night, you look at that 9th inning, and LSU ends up in that ball game against Tennessee on Friday, 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 4 for 7. I'm sorry, 3 for 7. That's 429. Now, it all came in 1 inning, but okay. You know, you can look at that and say Tennessee gave you some gifts. They did. But the 2 errors allowed the bases to be loaded. You still had to come through with the 3 hits that you did to win that ball game. Included also in that 375 is an 0 for 5 night on Saturday. But then, yeah, you were awesome in game 3. LSU over the course of the weekend, not just game 3, had 10 2-out RBI. That's been something we've talked, extensively about over the course of this season. Their ability with 2 outs, and a lot of that as well came with 2 strikes. Forgive me, I didn't go back and look exactly how many 2-strike hits LSU had, but let's see. Derek Curiel's tying single on game 1 was 2 outs. Jared Jones' home run was 2 strikes. You had numerous on Sunday as well. I believe Jake Brown's home run came with 2 strikes. Yeah, it was a 2-2 count. Those are 3 of the biggest hits of the weekend, and they came with 2 strikes. That's something that LSU had been very, very good at. And then over the course of 3 games, you struck out 24 times. LSU over the course of the last 2 weekends, had struck out north of 50 times combined. You struck out 30 plus against Alabama alone. When you do that, 24 looks really good. Going up against Doyle, going up against Phillips, neither of those guys struck out double-digit hitters. In fact, Tennessee didn't strike out double-digit hitters all weekend long. That is where it becomes bigger than just what you're doing against the starter. And that is where I look at this and I go, okay, that looks a little bit more like the LSU offense we were used to seeing. The other thing, there's 3 guys that we highlighted throughout this stretch. There was Jared Jones, Stephen Milam, and Luis Hernandez. Jared Jones, and kind of said, like, man, your stars have to be stars. And I know you might look at it and go, Luis Hernandez star, what do you mean? Well, before this stretch that LSU dipped offensively, Luis Hernandez, like heading into that Auburn series, Luis Hernandez was hitting 340 in conference play and had come up with numerous big hits. We've run through them plenty of times. I don't need to do it again. Obviously, you know Stephen Milam's one of your stars, and you know Jared Jones is. Jared Jones against Tennessee hit 333 this weekend with a homer, a double, 3 RBI. But I'll tell you what was awesome, just 4 strikeouts. And he also drew 2 walks. You can see the at-bats getting back to normal there for Jared Jones. If he's breaking out of this, which it certainly looks like he is based off what he did against Tennessee, a damn good, it's a top 5 pitching staff ERA-wise in the country. He went out there and hit 333 against it. Then that is absolutely going to bring your offense back. And then with Milam and with Hernandez, while they didn't put together the weekends that Jones did, they each had a game where they shined. And for Milam, it was when you were getting absolutely manhandled on the mound on Saturday night. He goes double homer, 2 extra base hits, 2 for 4 night. Would you have loved to have seen him build on that? Sure. But that right there is a really good sign of him hopefully starting to move forward. Same thing with Luis Hernandez. Hernandez in game 3, 2 for 4, both extra base hits, and he hit a couple balls this weekend really hard as well. You know, you go back and look at it, Luis Hernandez, he only had those 2 hits on the weekend. And man, you know, you could really want more than that, right? But I'll give you the big number with him. And you probably already know where I'm going with it, especially if you've been listening, because it was the number we threw out with him throughout those early struggles, and it was the strikeouts. Remember, I mean, let me see if I can find it. I think this was heading into, what was that it right there? Yeah. So this was heading into the Tennessee weekend. Luis Hernandez was 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. He struck out 3 times this past weekend. That's much better. You need that guy because the other big thing, and we talked about this in the weekend recapping Sunday's game, the other big thing that really showed in that game where you run ruled Tennessee was your lineup depth, and specifically at the bottom of the lineup. Where you look at Braswell, Hernandez, Stanfield, they had 4 of your 13 hits. They drove in 4 of your 12 runs. They were setting the table and also producing. And that gives LSU that lineup length that became, just notorious this season for them. You'd been missing that. So again, that's why Hernandez is so big. Seeing Michael Braswell continue to hit the ball well. He's still hitting over 300 in conference play. You combine all the things that we just talked about, and you can look at it and go, okay, maybe LSU is starting to get back to normal offensively. And if they're doing that, your pitching is good enough. Your pitching is good enough. They showed you that. They showed you that this weekend. 8th inning on Saturday aside, LSU gave up 7 earned runs all weekend. Your starters were awesome. And you even were able to piece it together a little bit in the bullpen with guys not named Cowan and Evans, and you didn't even pitch Connor Ware or Connor Bench. And outside of the 8th inning on Saturday, now we're not taking it completely the way it happened, just using to illustrate, you had a 2.5 ERA against that lineup. Your pitching is good enough. The offense has proven to be electric at times this year. If they are getting back to normal, this team is one hell of a contender. Now, you have to see it carry over. That's the other part of this. I could sit there and give you all those numbers and say, man, they looked like their old self. You have to see it carry over. And that's where we can really start to talk about Tuesday night. But first, I have to remind you about Gotlit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. Premium outdoor, permanent premium outdoor exterior lighting. Illuminate the front of your home or your business, the front flower beds, trees, maybe it's your backyard pool area, your patio. Gotlit Light Installers. It's your custom design. They take it, they install, they maintain, and in some cases, they'll tear down in storage. With that, you're looking at the temporary outdoor lighting for all your priority events, your weddings, your anniversary parties, your wedding receptions, your graduation parties, which are right around the corner. You have a grad in your family, you're throwing a party, you need lights, you go to Gotlit Lights. Gotlit Light Installers, again, same deal there. Custom design, cut to fit, install, maintenance, tear down, storage. They want to make you a customer for life. Derek and his team want to build a relationship with you. And once you get a hold of the customer service there, you'll have no problem following suit. It's Gotlit Light Installers. Don't forget the Christmas lights, obviously in the winter. Gotlit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. Okay, when we look at the game against Southeastern set for Tuesday night, LSU, we can get into what they might do on the mound, and you have plenty of options there, obviously. I mean, you didn't see Newt pitch, you didn't see Benj, you didn't see Ware. We'll get to all of that. But just a little bit of an overview on Southeastern. LSU leads the overall series 77-18. LSU has won 31 of the last 33 meetings. Of course, the win last season was very dramatic. You had the late inning heroics to win it 4-3, and Cade Anderson was phenomenal to start that ball game. This season, Southeastern has one heck of a club. This is a team that is right on the edge of the top 50 in RPI. Heading into this ball game, they sit at number 51. They are leading the Southland Conference, which is a very, very good league. They are coming off wins against UT Rio Grande Valley, who's in second place, and Houston Christian. So they've won, back-to-back series coming in here. 33-11 overall. Offensively, the Lions are hitting 300 even on the season. They've got some pop in that lineup as well. 72 home runs in 44 games. You have 3 guys, double digits. Ryan Brome, or maybe Brome, might be Brom. is tied for the team lead with Connor O'Neal. And then there's TJ Salvaggio, who has 11. O'Neal leads with RBI. You are looking at any given moment, most likely 5 300 hitters. And then Ben Robichaux is right on the cusp there at 295. This is a very game Southeastern squad at the plate and on the mound. Southeastern pitching to a 3.31 ERA. And you might ask the question, Musso, who have they beaten? Well, they had a game against Ole Miss get canceled, so that kind of stinks for them. They're 0-1 against the Quadrant 1, but they are 9-6 against Quadrant 2. So they have some good wins. Their best wins, their best win of the season is against Xavier, who is still in the top 30 in the RPI. LSU played them as well. So you have a common opponent. You both beat them. LSU beat them 18-4, I think it was, or something like that. Southeastern, it was a little closer. They only beat them by 3. But you share that common win. That is their best win. That's a top 30 RPI win. Even in the field, 977. This is a very good Southeastern team. First and foremost for LSU, okay, even before we get into watching the offense carry over, LSU, how do they come out for this ball game? Because you are coming off a very emotional, hard-fought weekend against a team that there was no love lost this weekend between the Vols and the Tigers. This is a sandwich spot because now you have to head to Texas A&M, who's very hot. Yeah, I know they got swept at Texas. I understand. Whatever. They lost 3 one-run games. That's a team still playing very well. This is a tight sandwich spot, a little bit of a look ahead potentially for LSU. Let's see how locked in, ready to go they are coming off of that big weekend. Because this is a game team that if you do not play your best, they will beat you. Now, when we actually look at LSU and pitching and offense, I'll start with the offense actually first because I want to see LSU go out there and score a bunch against a pretty good pitching staff. I want to see you go out there and end this game in 7 innings if you can. I want to see you hit with 2 outs. I want to see you hit with runners in scoring position. I want to see the advancement opportunities be to the level that they were at points this weekend. I want to see Stephen Milam build on his Saturday. I want to see Jared Jones build on his weekend. I'm expecting them to probably start Cade Arambidi. That's what they've done in the midweek. But, man, I wish it would be Luis Hernandez. I want to see him build as well. But he caught 3 games for you, or parts of 3 games for you. It makes sense that he gets the week off. But I want to see the guys who showed flashes this weekend of breaking out have the success. So you can build on it more and take it to College Station with you. But give me the 2-out RBI. Give me the 2-strike hitting. Give me the runners in scoring position. Give me all of it. Let's see if you can continue to check off those hallmarks that made you so great earlier in the year. Because once you get back to that level, sky's the limit for this team. It just is. On the mound, what the pitching plan might look like. I think you'll see some of the usual suspects. I would expect Jaden Newt to go ahead and get the start in this game. If it's not Newt, look out for Connor Ware. Connor Ware, they had every intention of him being part of the weekend. It just didn't work out. They couldn't get him in the right spot this week. But that's somebody you're going to want to see. Again, Connor Benj hasn't pitched in a week. He needs to get back out on the mound. Expect to see Maverick Rizzi and arms like that. Maybe even a DJ Primo. Just continue to get these guys work. Maybe William Schmidt as well. Schmidt faced 1 batter on Saturday. So you need to get all of those guys work. I'm giving you 2 guys, Newt or Ware, I think ends up getting the start in this ball game. But, likely you'll see both of them. Pop up. Don't need that pop up. Leave me alone. Pop up. I blanked. The pop up threw me off. I apologize. See if it'll come back to me here. I had one more thing that I wanted to see from LSU, and it is escaping me. See, we talked about, I'm just going to talk it out here, guys, real quick. We talked about the sandwich, about the letdown. We talked about the offense. We talked about the pitching. Oh, no, I guess that was it then. Play good defense, but you've done that virtually all year anyway. Go win the game. It's a big win. Because if Southeastern keeps winning in their league, they could find themselves back into the top 50 of the RPI. And it's not going to hurt if they go win the Southland Conference tournament and get into the NCAA tournament. It will not going to hurt if you have a win over that team. So it's not going to kill you if you don't, but this one wouldn't hurt you to go ahead and get out there and get after it and get the win. I like LSU in the game. I think they win. I think it is closer because I think there is maybe a little bit of a drag from LSU early, but they would probably pull away later in the ball game once they can get deeper into that Southeastern bullpen. Because look, the Lions, they're trying to win a Southland Conference championship. As much as they want to beat LSU, and as great and as much wonders as that would do for their resume, they're trying to win a Southland Conference tournament title first and foremost. So they got a weekend coming up too. That's very important for them. But it should be a dandy. 6:30 first pitch at the box, LSU and Southeastern. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Y'all smash the like button. Please get subscribed, share, subscribe on your YouTube channel and your favorite podcast app. Follow on social media. Got Lit Light Installers. Be here next time for more on Musso at the Box.